So how much should you charge for a maintenance detail? This is something that I see more and more detailers talk about, and a lot of times they get the pricing quite wrong. And if you can't hear me, it's because I have to be outside because there's too much noise in the shop with the air compressor turning on and the extractor, so it's better if I just stay out here, which is still noisy, but hopefully you can hear me. So the way you want to price anything is based on your budgeted hours and then your hourly rate. Those are the two things you're going to look at for any service that you want to price. So whether you're looking at correction and coding, whether you're looking at interior details, whatever, it's a PPF job, those are two things you want to look for. So like, let's say first, let's start with just the formula in itself, right? You think that job is gonna take you 4 hours and you wanna charge $95 an hour, so that's gonna be $380 that you need to charge for, right? That is taking how long you think it's gonna take times the your hourly rate goal, and then that has your final service, your final price, right? So when it comes to maintenance details, what a lot of detailers do is like, oh, I can charge less because it is a maintenance client. Now, theoretically, it shouldn't be as dirty as if, let's say, you're doing like a first time thorough cleaning of the interior exterior. So like maybe you have to do your first initial cleaning, and then once you do that, they're on a maintenance plan, right? For sure, that's definitely an option for sure. Now, what you want to look at though is nothing really changes in terms of how you're gonna price that though, because 2 hours, let's say it's gonna take you 2 hours. 2 hours is still 2 hours. Now you might say, hey, for maintenance specific services, because these are repeat customers, because they're already in good condition, because we're doing the service twice a month, instead of operating at $95 an hour, the discount will be $85 an hour, let's say. So like, let's say each time you go out there, I'm just making up numbers here, it takes you 2 hours for a maintenance detail. That's why also with a maintenance detail, like, yes, you want to be efficient, like if you can finish it like in 45 minutes or an hour and a half, that's fantastic. But the main point is that you're still charging your hourly rate, right? So like, if you finish it in 30 minutes and you want to make $100 an hour, for that specific job, you can charge $50 because you're finished. If you finish it in 30 minutes, half of $100 an hour is $50 an hour. And if you take 30 minutes, that's gonna be $50 in, right? And if you want more help understanding your numbers in terms of like your budgeted hours, how much to charge, your hourly rate goal, or you need help on the sales or marketing side, join us in Detailers Growth Academy. That is my online training platform where I basically share everything that we do here inside of that platform. So if you want to learn about our sales process and how we sell, what we say, how much we follow up, what our templates are, how many times we follow up, or if you want to see how I optimize a Google business profile to get free leads, or how to create your own website, or all these other things on the business side, that's what I teach inside of Detailers Growth Academy that you'll find down below. So in terms of like, you don't really change the formula because you still are going to get compensated your hourly rate regardless of how long you take. Because let's say you're gonna take 15 minutes. Well, then if that's the case, you're gonna charge 25 bucks for 15 minutes because over an hour, that would be 100 bucks an hour. And if your goal is 100 bucks an hour, you're charging 25 bucks for 15 minutes of your time, right? So let's say you're gonna go out there twice. Each time it takes you 2 hours. Again, just example. And your hourly rate goal is 95 bucks, right? So each job is $190 and you're going out there twice. So that's gonna be $380. Now let's say, hey, because this is maintenance, because we wanna incentivize the customer to sign up with us, instead of 95 bucks an hour, and that being $190 for one visit, you'll say, hey, we'll actually charge you $170. So you get 20 bucks off of the service, which is 40 bucks off of the service for the 2 visits. And now it's $170 per visit, or $340 for the month. So instead of $380, it's $340. Again, I'm doing very simple math. You can calculate what works for you. And the reason why you can keep the time the same, you can keep the service the same, but just to give them a discount, you can lower your hourly rate goal because of the specific service, right? Like if you're doing a very tedious, like wet sanding job, you wouldn't want to lower your hourly rate goal because that's the highest skill that you have. right? Whereas with maintenance, the goal is reoccurring revenue, right? So like, you're willing to take a smaller, not willing, but like you're able to take a smaller margin, but it being far more reoccurring and predictable and stable, that it makes sense to do that difference of a number in your pricing for that specific service. Now, where this issue comes into mind, where I see it, like I don't know why this is like a thing, but then you have people like, oh yeah, like I was told to charge $150 for a small maintenance detail, and it's like, well, where does that number come from? Like, the person that told you to charge $150, what's their hourly rate goal, and is it one person or two people, and how long do they take? And for you, how long do you take? And is that one person or two people? And what's included in the service? So don't take anyone's like general number of like, hey, for small cars it's 150, for mid-size it's 250, for large it's 350. It's like, what's the context behind those numbers, and why is it that amount, right? Because then what happens, and again, I talk to detailers, and like I hear it and I'm like, this makes no sense. Because then, let's say you go out there for 2 hours, you're charged like, I'm trying to do math right here. So if you go out there for 150, right? And this is why it's so important for you to track your hours, because if you're not tracking your hours, there's no way for you to know like how much you're actually making per hour, especially if it's more than one. Like, you're not gonna know how much you're actually making. You're literally just guessing the entire time, and that's literally the worst way to like actually grow your business. So this is why it's so important to actually track your numbers. So let's say for 150, it takes you 2 hours. That's $75 an hour. Again, maybe that's good for you, maybe it's not. I don't know. It's dependent on your business, right? I don't know. So let's say it's $75 an hour for 2 hours for 150, right? Because then the issue becomes, when you go out there with two people, two detailers, you work 2 hours each. So that's 4 man hours in total, right? You're on the job site for 2 hours. There's 2 people. That's 4 man hours. So now you're actually making $37.50 an hour per man per hour, right? Which is like, it's not that good. It's really not that good, right? So if it's taking you 4 man hours, right? Not 4 hours on the job site, because it's technically 2. If it's taking you 4 man hours on that job site, and again, we adjusted our hourly rate to give them a discount from 95 to 85, let's say. So if it's 4 hours for that, not for both visits, for one visit, if it takes you 2 hours and it's a maintenance detail, and we dropped our hourly rate from 95 to 85, and you've tracked your hours, and you know for that specific job, it actually takes you 4 hours, for a maintenance detail, that needs to be $340 for a maintenance detail. So if you're gonna do that twice a month, you need to charge them $680 a month. Now again, this is a made-up example. You know, instead of 2 hours, you put 1.5. You put 1 hour, or you put 3. You have to adjust these prices to your business. Like, there is no cookie cutter pricing that you can follow that someone gives you. Like, 10 out of 10 times when I've spoken to a detailer and they break down their numbers to me, it's when they get it from someone else and they just plug it into their business without actually doing the math and understanding what the numbers are. And then it's like, I'm very blunt with it. I'm like, can I just be like straightforward with you? These numbers are very unprofitable, and there's a reason. And then I go into the spiel of like what's going on with their business. Like, this makes no sense, to be honest with you. Like, this is not sustainable, and it's not profitable. Like, those two things are the two things that you need in your business. And you might say, oh, like charging $340 for a maintenance detail, isn't that kind of a lot? That's irrelevant. If it's taking you that long to do a specific service, and remember, like, we've already given the discount for being on a maintenance plan, that should be the price. Now, yes, we can talk about like efficiency. This is like 100%. Don't get me wrong. Like, yes, like instead of it taking 2 hours, it could be 1.5, right? Like 100%. There's nothing wrong with being more efficient, moving faster, and just being able to produce the same services in a shorter time frame. 100%. It doesn't change the fact, though. It doesn't change the fact that if a service takes you X amount of hours, whether it's solo or with a team, and make sure you're tracking this, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you need to be compensated per your hourly rate goal, right? So just because you say, oh, it's a maintenance detail, so I can only charge 95 bucks, but it took me, you know, an hour and a half, so I can only make 63 bucks an hour. It's like, well, if you want to continue to run this maintenance plan and you actually want it to be profitable, this has to change. Either you raise your prices, and here's the thing, you can be more efficient, but being more efficient and completing the job faster should complement you in terms of making more per hour, not compensating for the lack of pricing, right? So like if you're saying, oh, well, I can't charge more than 95 bucks and like I have to do everything I can to get this under an hour. It's like, it would be great if you can get it under an hour, right? But if you're moving that fast and working that hard because you just simply can't charge more, you have to change something in the service, because now you are working double hard, breaking your back, like pushing super hard just because you want to make a decent hourly rate. When like if you were just able to charge a more premium price for that maintenance, that hour and a half you took would be fine. Now remember, like these are all just like, this is a very hypothetical, but like it's a hypothetical scenario, but like it's an exact formula. Like you use the same one into your business, right? This is why, like, if you're not tracking your time on these jobs and you're asking me, hey, is this a good price point? I literally cannot tell you yes or no. I can't say if 150 is a good price point if you can't tell me how long it takes you to complete that job. If you charge 150 and you finish it in 40 minutes, yeah, fantastic. If it takes you 40 minutes with 2 people and now it's an hour and 40 minutes, it's not so good. But the issue is, like, 10 out of 10 D-sellers that I talk to, it's a bad situation. They don't track their hours. They actually don't know how long something takes. And at that point, like, it's very, very, very hard to like adjust your services and adjust your maintenance plan because there's no numbers to work off of. You're just saying, oh, well, 150 is starting off, 250 mid-size, and 350 SUV. It's like, what is that based off of? Like, what? Like, show me, like, how do you get to this number, and how do you make sure it's working out for you? Because let alone, if you're already pricing your maintenance plan wrong, and then on top of that, you give a discount, it doesn't take much to understand how much money you're losing because you have no understanding of the numbers. So are maintenance plans good? Yes, any reoccurring service is good. That's why pest control, window cleaning, poop scoop, pool cleaning, like that's why they have such high multiples in their business when they go to sell. That's why they have so much value in their companies, because they have the reoccurring they have the reoccurring side to the business. But they're profitable with those services. Reoccurring, unprofitable is still a shitty reoccurring service, right? Like that doesn't change it. So like if you're, if you ever seen like a poop scoop business, they poop scoop. Like their average ticket price for a month might be like $100 or like $150 per month to poop scoop. And they might be going out there like once a week to scoop up poop. But if each service takes less than 20 minutes and they have a very dense route, they're hitting $100 to $120 an hour. Scooping poop. Like that's all they do. So the service in itself needs to be profitable, and you can't just say, oh, well, it's reoccurring, so that's good. It's not good if it's not profitable. Like no service is good if it's not profitable. And you can't outwork bad pricing. Like if you're like, oh man, like this should really be $380, but I'm charging $250 because like it's a maintenance detail. It's like, well, so what? You're gonna like, and here's the issue, like, it's bad pricing, and then you have someone come help you to knock it out faster. And yes, you knock it out faster, but you literally took more man hours to do that, so you're still not making money. Like that is the dilemma with what I see with people running maintenance details. Yes, reoccurring revenue is absolutely fantastic. Reoccurring does not matter if the pricing model is completely off. Okay, the air compressor is off now, so I might be able to be in here. So that's why I say, like, when someone says like, oh, we have $6,000 in reoccurring maintenance plans, or we have $10,000 in reoccurring maintenance plans. It's like, again, like that top line number does not mean anything if you don't have the context behind all the other numbers. Like, don't think just because you have 4,000 in maintenance details, it's like automatically, oh, good, and I can go hire someone to come help me. Like, each job you have on that schedule might be unprofitable. And until you actually like look at those basic numbers to see what it actually means, you don't know what it is. Now, because another thing, like a big part of the maintenance plans is that it gives you more opportunities to upsell other services, right? If you're there for a basic interior cleaning and a basic wash, and then you're there and you know, you say, hey customer, I noticed like you have a scratch there. You know, we'll do the same maintenance service this time, but if you want me to take care of that scratch, typically I charge like 75. I'm already here, I'll do it for 50, right? And you take those upsells, and now since you're going out there more and more, you have more opportunities to upsell something differently, right? Maybe there's a stain, maybe again there's a scratch, maybe there's bird poop, maybe there's watermarks this time, what have you, on the glass. So you're not just there to do the maintenance service in itself. Like, you want to upsell other services when you're there. But again, like, upsells are fantastic. But if you're gonna upsell to try to, like, you want to upsell. Upsells are fantastic. Like, you need to be upselling. But if you upsell a service on an unprofitable maintenance plan, all you're doing is breaking even anyways. So you're not even able to take full advantage of that upsell and make more revenue and profit, because it's making up for the lack of pricing on the maintenance plans. So what is the perfect pricing? It's just depending on what, like, is it full thorough cleaning? Is it a like basic cleaning? Is it a exterior wash? Does it include the inner barrels? Does it not? Do you wipe down the something every other wash? Do you apply a spray? It really depends on how you structure your maintenance plan. But one, you have to track every service, at least for like a month, to see how long you're actually taking. Whether it's you or someone else, you have to understand, hey, this job took us 2 hours and 47 minutes and we charge X amount. Divide that and say, okay, we're making, you know, $55 an hour. Our hourly rate goal per man per hour is 95. So that means realistically this one would have to be X amount, right? You need to make sure you're tracking your time for both people. Don't say, hey, we were there for 2 hours and it took us 2 hours when there's two of you. That would be 4 man hours in total. And that's why it's important to track, because if you were there for an hour and 13 and the other person was there for an hour 13, well, you combine those 2 times and it's basically 2 hours and 30 minutes. And now you say, hey, we charged 200, we were there for 2.5 hours, so we're making, you know, what is that, 75 bucks an hour or something? That is what you have to look at, right? If you're not, if you're really not tracking any of this, like you're not tracking your billing, you don't have any invoices or quotes going out, you're not tracking your time in your CRM, like, you're just literally guessing in the dark each and every single time. And that's not what you want, because it's really hard to adjust your services. If it takes you an hour and a half, and if it takes you 2 hours and you want to make $100 an hour, you charge $200 for that service. If it takes you 3 hours, you're making less. If you finish it faster, you're making more per hour, right? And you have to keep on looking at that data to see it. Like I said, I'm like, track it for a month, but realistically, like, it'd be ideal to do this every time. So like every month or every week, you can look at the data and be like, are we on point with our pricing? Because like, let's say you're charging, like, let's say you're giving 25% of the commission, like you're giving 25% commission to your techs as pay, right? Well, if you're not charging properly, that means you can't pay your techs properly, because like they're literally always, you're literally always undercharging, and you're actually never giving them an opportunity to make money. Because now you're underpricing, you give them too few budgeted hours to work with, they bust their butt trying to finish it, they still go overtime, and they still go over budget, and they still don't get decent pay for it, because you're underpricing it, and you're underquoting it, and you're under budgeting it, right? So you have to have those things in place in order to make sense. I had 10 out of 10 detailers that I've spoken to don't have their maintenance plan correct. Like, it's just objectively, like, that's just what I've seen. You have to know how to look at the numbers to price accordingly. If you want help with understanding your numbers better, if you want help selling better, selling your maintenance plan better, selling your window tint or paint correction or whatever, and you want to learn how we actually sell, or if you need help with marketing and optimizing your Google business profile, or maybe creating your own website, check out Detailers Growth Academy. Check out Detailers Growth Academy down below. That is my all access pass to my online training to sales, marketing, operations, and admin. You'll learn a ton on the business side. I don't have anything detailing side of like how to polish paint or cleaning interior. This is focused on the business side of detailing. Check that down below.